Hello everybody and welcome. I am the Beta Plan and this is a video showing off the 4 endings to the Iberian struggle within the Fate of Iberia flavor pack for Crusader Kings 3. And along the way I'm also going to give you a few tips and tricks and my opinion on, some of these endings. I'm going to go and buy them in chronological order as you can see them on the screen when you enter the Iberian struggle. That means that I'm first going to go with the dominance ending, then I'm going to go with the status quo ending, and then the detente ending, and then, well, let's just say the outside bet ending. The dominance ending, you will be known as the Conquistador, you get 10,000 renown, which is for every ending. You can create Hispania, and you have the ability to choose your ending a little bit. If you want to do a Fate Hostility Dominance, Cultural Hostility Dominance, or just Domination Hostility. This determines the bonus opinion and penalties that you get with people from your same culture/faith or different culture/faith. You can get up to a -60 penalty with people and a +30 opinion bonus boost if you choose Domination Hostility, but allows you also to have 50% additional culture conversion and 50% additional faith conversion. I think this is really good because you try to tend to land people of your own culture and faith, at least that's what I do. So I think this is very powerful, and the Portugal start, as you can see here, which is a throwback to the previous video, is a very strong one. Because the dominance victory requires every de jure county of the nation to be the culture of yours and your faith. But because when you form Portugal, everything becomes Portuguese, this is already halfway done for you. Now, you also need, next to having a kingdom, a second kingdom. Well, Portugal starts next to 2 kingdoms that are very small, because Portugal takes away lands from Galicia, here named Portalicia because Portuguese dominance, and from Badajoz, here named Portajos. So it's very easy to conquer those and get very quickly towards the demands for ending into a domination victory. Here you can see how Barudan is taking the all-powerful domination hostility advantage, and I will show you also a little bit later on how powerful this is. People will hate me, people will love me, and we will have Portuguese dominance. How easy it is to get that is actually shown here, because in this Mozarabic tryout, I made it Islamic synchronism to get a +30 opinion. I actually wanted to go for the taunt here, but it happened to be that I couldn't push it into the taunt phase. It went into the hostility phase, and I conquered so much already that by pure accident I ended into Toledan dominance. Well, hey, that is what it is. I am going to take it. You need to hold 2 duchies of importance. Toledo is one of them. Galicia is one of them. Barcelona is one of them. Valencia is one of them. And I forgot the 5th one, but there's another one. And well, you actually, if you start at Toledo, you're not that far from Barcelona or Valencia, for instance. And thus, the Mozarabe could also come to a dominant victory. And here you can see the ability of having a Fate Hostility. And you get, by the way, then an extra bonus of 1,000 piety. And then you get the additional faith conversion. Whereas you choose the cultural dominance, it's only the cultural bonus. And if you choose the God has given us Iberia or Allah has given us Iberia, you get them both combined, and I think that is a good one. The extra bonus, 3,000 prestige, is worse than, I think, the renown bonus or the even the piety bonus, if you at least want to mess it a little bit with your faith. But hey, and this isn't dominance, also a Muslim dominance, but in this case I went from house Banu something, I can't remember, the Basque house that stopped in the north of Al-Andalus. And well, here you can see people hating me as I've chosen it here, Banu Musa. Because we have -40 penalty because of culture and faith opinion. But I think he's just jealous because of this awesome cause ability you get. The struggle clash you can then do outside of Iberia, allowing you to attack so much land in one war. It is ridiculous. And yeah, not everybody may have your culture, but as you can see down here, cultural hostility plus 0.47. You will be able to dominate Iberia, make it in one culture, one faith. And that is, of course, what all the domination victory is about. And I think that is done very well. And I think it is just simple conquer in the right directions. Now, the status quo ending is weird. You get the title Pragmatic, and connected and completed controlled duchies transfer the jury to the primary kingdom of the top liege. Okay, so your first kingdom title will get every duchy that you are next to it, will go into it, but I found exceptions. Then that kingdoms become an imperial title. Okay, Hispania can no longer be created, and holy wars become a little bit difficult. And you get, of course, one of the 10,000 renown again. And independent rulers, well, you get another bonus. Instead of hostility, you get compromise and you get regional stronghold for everybody. So, but what it does is it basically breaks up Hispania. And originally in 1.6, it could actually so happen that areas of Hispania became de jure part of Maghreb. They've changed that, I think, in 1.6.1, if I recall. So that doesn't happen anymore, but it does sometimes matter which title you own, what will happen. So here we have formed Aragon, and here we have two kings there, but if you give them a gift, you can get their opinion above 60, because there are several ways that you can go into this status quo ending, sorry. You have either have everybody above 60 opinion of you, or there cannot be any other person that is big or have a kingdom title, if I recall correctly. So here I have managed with the befriending that everybody likes me enough, and well, I have a little bit too much land because you cannot have more than 50% because otherwise you're going to go automatically into the dominance victory. So I have to release a few people in order to show you off that in this way you can form or choose the status quo ending and show you off what that all happens, because as I said, I find this one the wacky solution, if you will. It is just an ending for saying this is the end. Here you go. I can see I can get the imperial title because I held Aragon. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. But also Leon next to me and Galicia, the two kingdoms that were there, have become empires, and everything else have become kingdoms and empires right next to one another. Just weird. Only Galicia here has two kingdoms, Coimbra and Galicia. Everything else is just its own kingdom and also own empire. And that is because the Duchy of Coimbra is, I think, at this point not an independent nation. That is why it goes into the next door kingdom. However, why it goes into Galicia and not into Badajoz, I have no freaking clue. And it's also why Nasrid here has the Duchy of Andalusia. Also, that I don't exactly know. Sorry, they don't get it into the kingdom, but yeah, it's because he holds land and that is not independent. However, you can also go into a status quo via Portugal. It doesn't need to be one for dominance. No. But another thing of the dominance victory is that you have to have, as see here, no independence of ruler or king. That was in previous era a problem. Well, in this case, it isn't. In the previous one, I went for everybody must have a 60 opinion of you. But there's also that annoying thing that there may not be any war prevalent in Iberia. And that is not something you can have a lot of control over, except that they've added one mechanic in order to help you that. And it's a special mechanic in this case. Oh, sorry, wrong one. That is enforce truce. You can actually be so powerful that you say, hey, stop fighting war or I will intervene. That allows you to stop wars, and all of a sudden you do meet all the requirements because there is no longer any war in here. Wonderful, wonderful. Calais, we hold a kingdom title, the jury of Hispania, so we can form or take this decision of Portugal. And here you will see the weird thing. Remember this map a little bit, the way that it looks. And I hit ending the Iberian struggle in the status quo way. I don't know why Galicia here is formed. And here Navarra goes into the Zaragoza's empire. I can imagine that because I don't entirely hold it. But why it goes into that one and not into mine, which is bigger and I hold more land of it, I do not know. In fact, showing you off here the kingdoms and the empire titles that have gone into it, you will see that if I change a little bit the way I play this ending, things will turn out differently up in the north here. So here I have reloaded. I have Portugal still and the title of Galicia and Castile, by the way. It's not because I hold Galicia that Galicia stays around, because I also hold Castile, as you can see here. But I don't hold Navarra. So let's just make Navarra, and I'm going to show you this once how weird this goes. Then I will make Navarra my primary title for this show off. I wouldn't normally want that because it feels out of roleplay wise illogical, but now I formed it and all of a sudden Navarra is part of my empire. I guess because my kingdom is Navarra. But yeah, and then you see a little bit of difference sometimes with which empire gets what type of land. So if you're going for this ending, my tip would actually be, if you can do it, is save and look a few times if what is good for you. To get into the compromise phase, well, you just have to wait until the hostility phase or the conciliation phase is over. Getting into the hostility phase, by the way, I didn't mention it, but as I already said, it is just wage war. And you don't always need to go via a kingdom that is already part of España. Yes, I can work here to form Aragon. I am forming towards the duchy that is required for it, Alto Aragon, and I have Barcelona. But hey, as Guy de Jefre, I have already a lot of claims. If I get my duchy, and I go for the islands of Mallorca in the nearby areas, either for myself or for my brothers, I have the ability to hold 3 duchies, which allows me to hit the old button of form a kingdom. Et voila! We have the Kingdom of Barcelona. Now that's of course not really part of this flavor pack, but I want to show you that you can do with a nation outside of España. It can go great. Because here we are a little bit further. Barcelona has grown big and strong. Seen its vegetables, eating its meat. Big and strong Barcelona. So what do we need for the status quo here? Because here I don't hold a complete de jure title. Or neither am I exalted among men. Because if I had that, I wouldn't even need to hold a de jure title. Barcelona. Also, I control quite a bit of the region, but not too much. And, everybody needs to have a 60 opinion of me. So, how do I do... Oh, and I need to hold 2 specific duchies. But how do I do this? Well, I don't know why, but the compromise phase gets you a plus 20 bonus. In the compromise phase itself says a plus 10. But I'm here also open-minded and apostate. A tip for me, take the learning lifestyle if you want to go towards the status quo, because that allows you to get a high bonus. Also, of course, there's the befriend screen, as you can see here, because I have befriended a few people in order to boost that opinion and leave it a little bit higher. But that learning thing, just free perks of the learning lifestyle in the center is good enough to get a nice plus 30 opinion bonus with everybody. So let's see here. I have Barcelona, but that's part of Francia. I do not have the prerequisites to do as I need to do. Now I can form Valencia. Now I'm getting tongue-tied. Valencia, but I don't completely control this. So I can also create Navarra, and then you have, I have 3 kingdoms, I am powerful, and wait, why can I not form this? Because I have it all here, one-on-one. Yeah, I don't know why, but actually the kicker here is that I need to make Navarra my primary title. I don't know why it is, because it's not stated in the requirements, but now you can see, now I can do it, and voila, we can hit the status quo button. But that does do a weird little thing. As I said, status quo was for me the wacky end solution. And that is because, well, once again, Hispania gets divided up, and we are Navarra title, and of course now we are a emperor immediately, with Navarra being this weird kingdom, and I have Barcelona, but it's not part of this empire, and then, well, the deviations here divvied up between the people that were independent. But if I change it and I reload, right one, beautiful Barcelona here, and I change a little bit on what I do, things turn out very differently, and this is why I would suggest save, load, look at what happens. I don't think this is cheesy. I think it's just really hard to determine what is the end phase, because here I form Navarra. It's not my primary title, but I am still allowed to take the decision. Beats me. I have no clue why this is happening. And all of a sudden, I am but a king, because Barcelona is part of Francia, as is Navarra, and because Navarra has gone de jure now into Barcelona, as well as the parts of Valencia. So now the map looks totally different. With, of course, and also, as you can see here, Coimbra didn't go into Badajoz, but this time into Leon. So sometimes this is a bit of a toss-up, and in fact, the Empire of Badajoz here has the Kingdom of Badajoz in it, very logical, but it also, supposedly, the kingdom has the Duchy of Algarve in it, and they don't even own that. It's owned by this king, so why does it gone into Badajoz kingdom and not into the one, you know, the Bejar kingdom? I don't know, but it's just weird. It's just a wacky solution. Let's just go on to the one that I think is the most difficult to obtain, the Detente solution. The Detente solution, well, every involved culture gains plus 50 cultural acceptance, la-di-da, but permanent faith marriage is allowed inside and permanently disables holy wars. Those are the two major things, and of course, once again, 10,000 renown, and you get a bonus to the house, which in this case is Conciliation. People tend to like you better if they're from a different faith or culture, and that can help you in the end, don't get me wrong, but it demands that you have an alliance with everybody. My tip, actually, is to go via a Muslim faith, because they can have multiple wives, get a lot of children, which allows you to have a lot of alliances. Here I am exalted among men. I completely hold de jure one kingdom I only needed instead of two, like the dominance victory. But everybody needs to have an alliance with you. And I'm going to show you that I can do this as Era Zahara faith. And Era Zahara, by the way, mind you, is monogamous. Only one wife. Still unable to do that, because note that this is my grandson. Because of the interfaith marriages. And because of the weird things that can happen in CK3, you might be said... Well, might be said, you have a say, sorry, that's the way to, that's the proper way to say that in English, in who they marry, if you so hit the box. So here I have a lot of people that are actually allied to me, but two people that aren't. One I am attacking right now in Mallorca, and then there's a lady that I just show you, a man who is married to a man, or betrothed I should say to a man, that I'm about to murder. Sometimes if you want to be peaceful, you have to be aggro. Yeah. Actually, the easiest way to get into the conciliation phase, and this is no joke, is war. If you at least have a culture equal to some of the land that you're going to conquer. If you're going to conquer a county, that is also, for instance, if you start as Andalusian, you can say give it to a local noble. This gives a plus 10 bonus towards the conciliation phase, where you only had a -3 penalty toward the hostility phase for waging war. In fact, if you were so lucky to attack a single county count, and you captured him, let him go. It gives a plus 25 bonus to the conciliation phase, and because it's only a single county count, you only have to, siege down one county and have won the war. So, basically, doing that pushes us into the conciliation phase, allowing you to do wacky things like this. Now, this boy is married already, but this boy right here isn't married, but he is a grandson of mine, and because he's Muslim, he got a lot of children with my daughter, and voila, matrilineal marriage, and it is considered a alliance. Let's wait for it. Yep, that war has happened. I was allied to the person, but that he's gone doesn't matter, because it doesn't influence my Detente ending. And I'm also allied to this lady, which is needed because I hold, at the moment, more than 50% of Iberia, which isn't allowed because that, of course, is dominance. Sure, whatever. Well, grant her independence. They tend to like you anyways when that happens, but I have an alliance, that's the most important thing. Liking doesn't really matter actually for the Detente, that's only for the status quo, sorry. But yeah, here we go. Less than 50%. I have an alliance with everybody because I had a family member that was via the Muslim route. I think it would be better to go immediately Muslim. That allows you to have a lot of children for a lot of, and of course sisters and brothers, for a lot of beautiful alliances. And this way we can push the Detente ending. I think it is the most difficult one to achieve. The interfaith marriage, however, as cool as it is a little bit of a transient bonus in my opinion. Because You still want to form España, right? We want to create an Era empire and get the Marine Basque here to become the most powerful culture there is. Well, actually, I want to make it one culture because Marine Basque is actually based on Frankish heritage. And this lady, she will become mine again. Right now, she has a minus 16, but that's because of minus 40 recently waged war. That's kind of a weird one, but it's because of the truce with you, because you grant independence. And that is the case, I will show you now. Because here we are a little bit later with the Arizara Empire and everything united. But yeah, with everything united and everything Arizara, there aren't any other interfaith marriages you can choose to do. Which is very much of a shame, because people outside of Iberia don't have that modifier, so the fact that it is allowed doesn't really help you. But you can grow on and do things such as forming Ballet of Furenia, if I pronounce it correctly, which I think was maybe added later, but it's an area outside of Iberia, and in fact, the only area that has is Mallorca. But if you do so, and you get, besides Witch Coven and Conciliation, the Master of the Mediterranean, you create a new kingdom that is outside of Iberia. I don't know why they've added it this way. I mean, I like to press buttons, create kingdoms, do new things, don't get me wrong, but it was just weird. In fact, in 1.6, this one was a broken kingdom because it gave an additional renown per family member. This is why I'm already legendary and this particular date. So this was something you could do, no longer the case if you're 1.6.1. So if you want to do a little cheaty rollback, or cheaty, one a little bit cheeky, maybe isn't the right words. But hey, go and continue on with the conciliation phase doesn't mean, even if the bonuses are gone, that everything is over. Because this is a unique event, the Navarro School of Translators, or at least the School of Translators, based on the conciliation ending. With the spirit of the conciliation reigning in Iberia, scholars from all the region have been dawdling in the libraries in my domain. Perhaps I could direct their energy into something useful. And you can get actually quite a distant, well, for a lot of cash, because for me it was 1,500 gold, a substantial bonus to your learning language scheme, 80%, additional learning, and, well, a cool nickname, the Wise. But yeah, here is Iberia, even conquered Crete and Cyprus with that CB of the kingdom that I fought of Balofirenia, because then you can attack anything in the Mediterranean for just a bit of prestige. And from there I formed everything. So I do want to show you off also with this ending that Detente doesn't really mean that everything has to be peaceful. But yeah, this is my nice Iberian culture. Despite the fact that I didn't have the hostility advantage, so could form everything very easily. But yeah, it is great, and here you can see all the crazy things that I've unlocked because of that Balofirenia kingdom I created back then, no longer as powerful. But hey, I told you there was another ending, right? But you don't see another ending in the struggle of Iberia. Well, that's because there is one more interesting thing you can do when you're an outsider, and that's the Iberian foothold ending. Now, I have to admit, I went all the wrong way here. You have to have the capital outside of the Iberian region. Okay. Done. You gotta have formed your own empire. And of course, I formed an empire after the Hastings guy that I took, which I think everybody has taken once, to just attack Galicia with a Varangian adventure and then conquered from there everything. And, well, created a big empire, but part of it needs to be, all of these tiles need to be of your faith. 50% of the Norse faith counties. Well, I have reformed Azatru, and of course, because Azatru is an invading faith, it's not that difficult to have 50% of those counties within your area. Bow. So here you go, you can see Azatru, and well, that fulfills that requirement. Then you hold and completely control the Judy Kingdom of España. So, despite the fact that I formed an empire, I need to have a kingdom, and that's over here. Norleon. Of course, normally Leon, but I renamed it because I find that funny, okay? That's just a thing I do when I'm playing all by my lonesome. Anyways, yeah, I have that. And 50% of these counties must be of your faith. Well, there are only 2 counties, so I had to only reform 1, and I have 50%, because heck, everything else of Leon, I let slip into Galicia. And the title border the title, that kingdom that you have in España, must border your empire. And then you must hold that title for 15 more years. Okay, all requirements done here, and then if you have this, you can hit the Iberian foothold ending, allowing you to have all the kingdoms that are within Hispania to incorporate, which is nice. You want to stop the Iberian thing, because if you're in the hostility phase, looky here, minus 75% tax income. That's nuts! That's not cool! I did this wrong. I thought that this wouldn't be such a problem, and here you even see that I formed my own culture and what have you not. But I didn't realize that for the interlopers in the Iberian foothold, some of the penalties that are imposed on those that are involved are even increased in magnitude when you are an interloper. I suggest you would not put your capital duchy and area within Iberia, because the penalties there are incredibly big. You might rather want to start as one of the colonies in West Francia and start going down. Perhaps form Francia the empire before you move into Iberia, and then get all the kingdoms that you conquer, like Navarra maybe, or Valencia, and what have you not, immediately incorporate into Francia very quickly, because I think that is the best solution, and this might be a bug, but even if I end the Iberian struggle, it seems to freeze it in what it was at that moment, which is still minus 75% tax income. That's not so nice when you have based your empire on this thing. But alright, that is the secret ending that you can also have for the Iberian struggle that's not actually within the Iberian struggle. And remember, great peril yields great beauty. In this case, in the form of a drunkard, obese, metal-geared up dwarf. Yes, we can have fantasy dwarves in historical Galicia. And with that, I say I thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video.